Hey guys, welcome everybody. Ben Keck from Keck Legal. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why you always want to have a lawyer in your corner anytime you as a borrower are negotiating against a lender with any kind of loan documents, workouts, forbearance agreements, modifications that they're asking you to sign. This is very, very important. Let's get into it. This is something that I see all the time where you've got a borrower and you've got a lender, and borrower gets behind on payments, whatever the situation might be. Oftentimes, something like a mortgage, it's a pretty standardized process of, okay, you've got the bank handles things how they handle them. You go through their process, and the forms are usually fairly consistent. But when we're dealing with a business, and particularly when we're dealing with unregulated lenders, think anyone who's not a bank, and sometimes even when you're dealing with a bank, oftentimes there might be a negotiated workout where, okay, you got behind on your payments, you've got this lender, maybe they're an unregulated lender, what we call oftentimes hard money lenders, where this is just an LLC that they make loans typically against real estate. They've always got collateral, right? And there's usually a lot of equity in that collateral, so that they're very well protected. If anything were to happen, they can foreclose on the collateral, and that's a big problem. So oftentimes what will happen is you wind up in a situation, borrower's behind on payments, and the lender now will want to work with you and work something out and agree to forbear on foreclosing on your property and calling it a default, and doing all these bad things. However, they want you to sign a bunch of documents, and those documents that they want you to sign are not for your benefit. They are 100% for the lender's benefit. Yes, it's going to, of course, be presented as, oh, they're, being so kind and willing to work with you, and they are. That's true. They don't have to necessarily as a matter of law. However, you have to keep in mind you are dealing with professionals that do this all the time. A borrower negotiating with a lender is like me getting into the boxing ring against a professional boxer. Who do you think's going to win that match? Give you a hint, it ain't me. I'm going to get destroyed. What would be probably a really smart thing for me to do in that situation is, instead of me fighting that professional boxer, I go out and hire a professional boxer to fight for me. And it's the same thing when you're negotiating against a lender. They know the law. They know exactly why everything is in those documents. It's for their benefit, not yours. And there's going to be all kinds of stuff in those documents that are designed to protect them and put them in a situation where, if things somehow go awry, they're now in a better position than before you signed those documents. For example, you might think perhaps they haven't shown you the math. They've tacked on all kinds of interest and fees, and they're saying, oh, this is the new number. And you're like, well, wait a second, that doesn't seem right. I think that number is too high. And they say, oh no, just trust me, that's the new number. I need you to sign this saying that you agree it's the new number of here's what you owe us, and or else we're going to foreclose on you. And guess what? They've now got the gun to your head. And I see this all the time, where then people will sign the forbearance, and guess what? There's language in that forbearance saying that you just admitted that that's how much you owe them. Not only that, you've released any claims you might have had against them for anything that they did wrong before that. So, and I see people come to me and they want to try to, oh, we need to, go after the bank. Their numbers are wrong. But it's like, you signed a document waiving all of those claims, waiving your rights to pursue any of that. Case closed. You probably should have talked to an attorney before signing those documents, because guess what? If you would have come to me, we could have looked at it and I could have advised you, said, hey, Are you sure you want to agree to this? And you might have said, well, wait a second, I'm not sure if I do. What are the risks? What are our other options here? But if you don't talk to an attorney, if you just sign the agreement, there's going to be oftentimes not a whole lot we can do from that point forward. You've just now potentially made a huge mistake that can't be unwound. The old saying, ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And this is very typical. Of course, nobody wants to hire an attorney because you can't trust them. They're way too expensive. But I got to tell you, it's like insurance, right? It's like, you could pay a few $1,000s now to have an attorney work with you and negotiate a deal and make sure you're protected, make sure you understand what you're agreeing to, or you could potentially lose, thousands and hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, depending on the size of the loan later on, because you got into the ring against a professional and you didn't have a professional in your corner, which is what you absolutely need anytime you're negotiating anything with a lender, because they're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing, and you need somebody on your side. So, would love to get you in here and talk about your situation.